If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you already know about these creatures in orange jumpsuits with bucket helmets. Lethal Company has amassed a player base so big that there's over 100,000 active players daily. It's even bigger than Space War. If you know what that is, I just want to say, I understand, we've all been there. The swift ascent of Lethal Company begs the question, what factors propelled its rapid and widespread recognition? It's certainly not from cinematic trailers and false promises. Lethal Company's triumph can be unequivocally ascribed to its gameplay. The developer, leveraging substantial experience in game development, deserves due credit for an amazing job, but we'll come back to that later. For now, let's delve into the supporting factors. Firstly, its price is set at an affordable range. Typically, when someone discovers an intriguing multiplayer game within a friend group and attempts to enlist others, they often wait for a sale due to the game's usual high cost. Unfortunately, this can lead to a loss of momentum, with the initial enthusiast moving on, and the prospect of purchasing the game loses its appeal. However, Lethal Company stands out in this regard, as a reasonable price enables players to acquire the game promptly, eliminating the need to wait for a sale. The second contributing factor is its vibrant and engaged community. A dynamic community facilitates the effortless dissemination of game awareness, particularly in an era dominated by short video content. Players frequently share brief clips showcasing their eccentric escapades in Lethal Company.
Scaring the shit out of me.
You missed.
Wait.
And this user-generated content serves as an organic form of marketing, rapidly spreading the word. However, the paramount factor deserving detailed exploration is the game's gameplay itself. After all, people wouldn't buy it if it wasn't fun, and they wouldn't share clips if it wasn't enjoyable. So let's delve into this aspect. I've spent a ton of time playing it and made quite a few sacrifices for the company. The main reason the gameplay is so enjoyable? It's all about not knowing what's going to happen next. At its core, Lethal Company belongs to the co-op roguelike genre, similar to Hammerwatch, although it's not as complex as Hammerwatch. You navigate through procedurally generated levels, enhance your strength with upgrades, and face permadeath. Instead of confronting a boss at the end, your goal is to meet a quota set by the company. But you can't really classify it just as a roguelike. Lethal Company is also a survival horde. Here, you're not an overpowering protagonist confronting hordes of enemies, rather, your primary focus is often on evading threats and trying to stay alive. Despite the somewhat perplexing genre amalgamation, the game offers an immensely enjoyable experience. So why is it so fun anyway? Well, let's talk about Phasmophobia a little bit. Upon its release, Phasmophobia garnered immense success, owed to its ingenuine approach in crafting a cooperative horror survival game. Notably, Lethal Company bears a strong resemblance to Phasmophobia, particularly in the cooperative aspect, hinting at a potential source of inspiration, such as employing limited communication through proximity chat, adding a layer of mystery to your teammates' condition, as you won't precisely know if they are still alive. Both games feature an optional intel role, where a designated player can provide information from a helicopter view, potentially warning others of imminent danger. The notable distinction lies in Phasmophobia's more detective-oriented cooperative approach, where players collaborate to deduce the type of enemy they confront. In contrast, Lethal Company's adversaries are pre-known, and collaboration primarily centers on collectively evading imminent danger. After all, the developer expressed admiration for Phasmophobia, commending it as a horror PvE game, while expressing concerns about its repetitive nature. Lethal Company addresses this issue by introducing randomization, mitigating the monotony. In essence, the developer took inspiration from what made Phasmophobia enjoyable and elevated it into a unique cooperative survival horror experience. What sets Lethal Company apart is its unreserved embrace of comedic elements, a departure from the serious tone adopted by most survival horror games. The main idea is to share moments of goofy intensity, pride, and chaos with friends, fostering a unique and entertaining gaming experience. Now let's discuss the core gameplay by tracing the steps of the usual Lethal Company experience. You start off every gameplay with barely any credits. You can only afford a shitty flashlight. As you explore different moons with randomly generated settings, you encounter diverse facility layouts, face tough atmospheric conditions, and encounter unknown creatures that are usually too late to identify in time. You always have to be on your toes every time because who knows what kind of bullshit is thrown at you in your next exploration. Each time you land your ship, it's a new unpredictable, intense experience. A huge portion of that unpredictability is credited to the danger that lurks, as the game's AI employs various tactics in taking down the players. There's bugs that get upset when you take their loot, a slow approaching blob of death, creepy skeleton-looking guy that stalks you, a bug that drops down from the ceiling if you pass by it, and probably the most interesting one, a skinwalker that pretends to be your coworker. The danger isn't just contained in a designated area as well, unlike Phasmophobia. Players outside the facility can still be mauled by dogs, eaten by giants, or even get tricked by a skinwalker. There's just no time to breathe. Notably, the game's deaths unfold in an exaggerated comedic manner, adding a distinctive charm to the overall experience.
Oh my god!
Why is it inside the goddamn ship?
The sound design is a crucial element contributing to the atmosphere of paranoia within the game. Given the dark lighting and intricate maze-like layouts of the map, it becomes challenging to discern whether a hostile entity is present in your vicinity. Subtle sounds of footsteps or the creaking of doors add to the ambiguity, making it difficult to ascertain whether it's your coworker or a potential threat. The introduction of distinctive sounds for deadlier entities, exemplified by the Jester's pre-activation Pop Goes the Weasel music, provides a crucial opportunity for strategic evasion. While newcomers may initially struggle to recognize these sounds, a bit of gameplay time gradually eased this challenge.
Oh, that was close!
It's so easy to die in the game that the game compels you to think strategically. You stop sabotaging your friends and actually start working together. You finally have a designated ship guy to help you navigate through the facility, warning you about potential danger, increasing your odds of survival. Planning becomes crucial, contemplating how to evade threats and maximize loot on each expedition. But sometimes things go wrong, like unexpected entities showing up. Your plan falls apart, then your coworker just got blasted across the room, and another one just got snatched. You're tempted to start over, but you can't because you only get 3 days to fill the quota. You remembered you just got a lot of loot in the ship from the previous exploration. Now you could also lose all your inventory if everyone on your team dies. The stakes are too high. You have an internal conflict now. You argue that the ship guy will act as an insurance. If everyone in the facility is toast, the ship guy would start the ship as soon as possible. But without recovering the bodies, you're going to lose a lot of credits. There's also a risk that the ship guy could be mauled by a dog at any moment. Ultimately, your game plan shifts. You start to think on how to minimize your losses. Survival and recovering your coworkers' bodies take precedence over the loot. When the ship finally takes off and you breathe a sigh of relief, you realize you've successfully adapted to the unpredictable scenario. You just use that noggin of yours, and it feels great when you get to use your dusty brain to overcome a challenge. Perhaps in the next expedition, you're opting for a more offensive strategy. Though taking down an entity is not as easy as it sounds.
There's no bullet!
You can buy items that help you kill an entity if you have enough credits. However, this introduces another layer of complexity, a financial challenge. For example, the stun gun is effective in immobilizing certain entities, but if you die, you might lose it. Although surviving coworkers can retrieve it, but are they actually ready for what's waiting behind that door? You decide you can handle losing the stun gun, but for how long? If you use up all your credits, you can't afford important things like walkie-talkies. So you have to be smart with your credits and use that big brain of yours. If you're good at budgeting, you can even buy fun items as a reward for the team's hard work, like a very squeaky plushie or a jetpack. Or you could just blow all your credits in decorative items. Who cares about surviving? The game isn't going to stop you. Just be ready for the consequences though.
Oh.
The bottom line is, Lethal Company has a strategic depth that players might not notice right away. It's a lot of fun and super addictive. The credit for all this goes to Zeekerss, the person behind the game. Interestingly, Zeekerss initially embarked on their game development journey as a Roblox developer, during a time when the Roblox platform had yet to devolve into a mere Roblox-driven enterprise. Among their early works is Lucid Dream, a 2D puzzle platformer distinguished by contrasting backgrounds that progressively morph into chaotic landscapes. It earned recognition on the official Roblox YouTube channel, which is the equivalent of receiving a handshake from the president in the Roblox community. Although not a horror game, Lucid Dream showcased Zeekerss' willingness to take a unique approach to game design. The creative flair is notably extended in Zeekerss' 2D Roblox platformer titled Doodle. The game showcases hand-drawn levels seamlessly integrated into Roblox, presenting them as playable levels. While the gameplay may lack significant challenge, it offers a serene and visually pleasing adventure. The unique charm lies in the experience of watching your Roblox character navigate through real-life doodle drawings. Importantly, Doodle embraces a collaborative ethos by incorporating drawings from various users, highlighting Zeekerss' willingness to embrace community involvement in the realm of game development. Another noteworthy Roblox game by Zeekerss is Silent Dark, described as a psychological thriller wherein both your dreams and reality you are never safe. What sets Silent Dark apart is its ability to induce a palpable sense of paranoia, gradually intensifying the horror atmosphere until a climatic crescendo. This strategic manipulation of the player's perception, constantly instilling a feeling of being watched, introduces a nuanced psychological layer. While Silent Dark and Lethal Company are very different, traces of Silent Dark linger in Lethal Company, particularly in the cultivation of a paranoia-inducing atmosphere, although not as distinctly as in Zeekerss' next game, which was not developed within Roblox. It's worth noting that Zeekerss has transitioned to Unity for their game development endeavors. Enter It Steals, a departure from the Roblox platform, built on the Unity engine, representing a substantial advancement beyond Roblox horror games, which, regardless of their scare factor, often carry a distinctive Robloxy ambience. It Steals introduces a survival horror concept with stealthy antagonists that draws thematic parallels with Silent Dark. The game exploits your paranoia, but unlike Silent Dark, it relies heavily on jump scares. As a fast-paced survival horror experience, It Steals prioritizes heightened intensity over a meticulously crafted storyline, underscoring Zeekerss' adaptability across diverse gaming landscapes. It Steals excels in its sound design, especially when you're in a constant sprint away from the monster amid the dim lighting. The music escalates into a frantic tempo, and thunderous footsteps grow louder as the monster closes in, inducing a palpable sense of panic and heightened intensity. A similar mechanic surfaces in Lethal Company, where your vision blurs and your hearing is muffled when targeted by an entity. Sound cues play a pivotal role in It Steals, allowing you to discern the proximity of the monster. This auditory information grants you precious moments to react, perhaps by maneuvering around a corner or swiftly turning and using your camera flash to stun the monster. This mechanic finds resonance in Lethal Company, where sound cues aid the player in distinguishing and evading hostile entities. Notably, Zeekerss demonstrates the ability to seamlessly incorporate previous game mechanics into new iterations. Before developing Lethal Company, Zeekerss created a game called The Upturned, and I believe it strongly influenced Lethal Company. The Upturned is a single-player survival horror with a quirky comedic twist. One standout feature is its use of various enemy types as a game mechanic. Every encounter with an enemy is chaotic, and adapting to different enemy types becomes crucial for survival. The addition of a comedic layer further endows the game with a distinct charm, with enemy attacks being ridiculously hilarious, like the Pajama Man, also featured in Lethal Company as a plushie, grabbing and smacking the player repeatedly. Your own attack is equally ridiculous, as your main weapon is throwing furniture at your enemies. It's so comedic that it is reminiscent of Tom and Jerry's slapstick humor. The comedic essence permeates both the storytelling and world-building aspects. For instance, the main character's startled reaction to a phone call and the nonchalant demeanor of the side character and guide Ick in the face of life-threatening situations add a humorous touch. It's the attention to these minor details that enhances the humor, reminiscent of Lethal Company's portrayal of the company treating players as expendable employees. The comedy remains understated and avoids becoming intrusive, striking a balance that prevents it from feeling forced. The resemblance to Lethal Company is striking, showcasing a delightful fusion of horror and comedy, complete with identical graphics and art style. Introducing cooperative gameplay and randomized levels essentially transforms it into Lethal Company. The recurrent integration of prior game mechanics by Zeekerss emerges as a consistent theme, underscoring a commendable resourcefulness in game development. I haven't covered all of Zeekerss' games. After the transition to Unity, Zeekerss released several titles in Unity, with the first published game being Too Many Asteroids, essentially a test game. I appreciate that Zeekerss hasn't taken down the game from their itch.io page, as it represents their humble beginnings and showcases the potential achievable with time and skill. Initially, it might be hard to fathom that the creator of Too Many Asteroids would eventually produce Lethal Company, one of the best-selling indie titles on Steam. Moreover, I'm glad that Zeekerss' Roblox page is still accessible. Despite the common perception of Roblox as a platform primarily for kids creating simplistic games, there's no shame in that. Everyone starts somewhere. and Zeekerss provides a commendable example. The success of Lethal Company is not merely a stroke of luck, it's the result of years of Zeekerss' accumulated experience. Beyond the realm of game development, Zeekerss' journey imparts a valuable lesson about embracing creativity with a reservation. The advice to persist in doing what you love is a universal truth. The idea that there is always something insightful to learn from unique experiences extends beyond the confines of game development, resonating with broader narratives and underscoring the significance of humble beginnings in our individual journeys. Looking ahead, it's interesting to see what new features Zeekerss will bring to Lethal Company or what their next game will be. While currently known for their adeptness in the horror game genre, an intriguing question looms. Will Zeekerss confine themselves to this categorical label, or will they venture beyond the horror game? It is worth recognizing that horror, in its essence, serves as a thematic appearance, and the true appeal lies in the innovative delivery of gameplay dynamics. Either way, I wish Zeekerss nothing but all the best in their future projects. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I'll see you soon enough.